But I digress. We are here in the grand finals. And spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have, for the Shopify Rebellion, ByuN. Looking strong today. Taking down some solid players. Took down, I believe, Solar and Gumiho, if I'm not mistaken. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner has actually taken down some strong Terrans today. Took down Ryung and then Cure. And then maybe kind of got a little bit lucky that his match versus Dark ended prematurely as Dark had to forfeit. But, I mean, he certainly did his duty to get here today. It is Kibiam, also known as Ragnarok, formerly, but now going by the name of Shin. Playing for Mystery Gaming. ByuN's going for the low ground barracks, but it looks like it's just one. Just the low ground single racks here for ByuN. Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that Dark had to forfeit. I mean, the match was 1-1. Always a chance that Shin could just take it anyways. But I think it's just unfortunate. And I don't like that they scheduled that cup at the same time as this EPT cup. The thing is, there's not a lot of ways to get EPT points right now. And so these cups are really important. I mean, at the end of the day, this is really good for Kibiam, for Shin. Because he's going to get some EPT points that he may not have otherwise gotten. Thanks to Dark forfeiting, right? Dark could have won game 3 of that series and Shin would have been SOL. But now he's got a chance not only to win, I think it's 5 points for the second place, but he could win 10 for first. He's already taken down 2 very strong Terrans today. And ByuN opening up very, very macro focused without the Reapers. He has 2 more barracks on the way. He kills that Overlord, but doesn't scout at all. He is putting down a bunker, so he's feeling a little bit safe. I don't know what he said here. He's like, what are you doing? Something cheeky. No Lings have hit the front. ByuN might be a little suspicious because of that. Ling speed is about to finish, though. And Shin's doing the exact same build that he did against Cure in their second game. And he's just going to try to bust in to ByuN. The bunker's going to help. I don't know how much it's going to help, though. Stim is not going to be done. And Shin is walking across the map with the Roaches and Ravagers. ByuN just needs to get out as many units as possible. If he knew this was coming, I feel like he'd be, I don't know, playing a bit more safely. But he hasn't scouted anything because he didn't get any Reapers out. And now I think I'm getting real worried for ByuN here. Shin's gonna just smash through this bunker very quickly. Whoa, good pullback on the Ravager there. The repair is good for now, but the next set of Biles is gonna take this down. This is a lot of Marines still left alive. The SCV is helping out quite a bit. The Lings are gonna get through on top of the Marines, though. The SCVs and this one Marine actually getting the kill on that Ravager. That is huge. But Shin is in. He has more Lings coming behind this, but they're very far away. Right now, the reinforcements are just not quite here. That being said, the Ravagers against the non-stim Marines can micro pretty nicely. Looks like the reactor is going to go down. Depot might go down here. ByuN's going to lift up. He's just going to hold the high ground. And I don't think there's any way for Shin to bust up to this high ground. With all the SCVs here and all these Marines, Stim and combat shields are about to finish. I think Shin needs to be very careful with how he handles this. Oh, ByuN's going to bust down. He's going for it. He's going for it. He doesn't want to stim. Shin doesn't want to give up this position too easily, but I think if he goes in here, I don't think he's going to win that fight. I like this. Just sending out the Biles, trying to be annoying. But he pulls back. ByuN setting up a 4th barracks here just to get more Marine production going, as well as his factory. And it looks like ByuN holds. And not only does he hold, he's ahead 10 workers. That was a huge economic hit to Shin. Oh, and what a scan. What a scan. Sees 3 more roaches coming out. Plus the double gas is going down here for Shin. And the fact that there's really not many drones at this base. And ByuN's got to know it's just time to hold. And yeah, he's double building bunkers right now. The factory's about to finish. We'll see if he just tries to get out like a siege tank. I feel like a high ground siege tank here could be so sick. Building marauders as well. This game is looking fantastic for ByuN. I don't think Shin's going to be able to bust him. He's got one more chance. He's got one more chance. And you know, busting makes him feel good. So he's going to try it. But that is a 3rd bunker for the Terran. I love, too, how the bunkers aren't connected to each other. So there's no good value biles here for Shin. He is going to have a lot of Ravagers, though. Let's see if ByuN can hold. Let's see if he can hold. He's getting the reactor on the factory, so I think that's going to be for the medevacs because he wants to be able to stim. First bunker already getting biled pretty low. He's going to be able to heal it back up. Needs those medevacs out so he can hit that stim to win button. Oh, the repair here is so good. Oh, the last bile just a little too late. I can't believe that's going to stay alive. That time, it's not. The Marines just leave. ByuN happy to make this take more and more time. The longer this takes, the better it is for ByuN. That's why he's just building so many bunkers. He's just going to have so many units out. He's very close to having too much army supply for Shin to be able to fight against. However, there are a bunch of Lings behind here. I think the moment there's a big stim in, those Lings are going to show up. A couple Ravagers going down. The Lings want to be part of this engagement. They don't want to overcommit, but the Ravager's getting targeted, and it might be too late for the Lings now. They're going to show up. Oh, the biles! So sick here from Shin. Is it enough for him to push through? SCV's coming off the line. The biles actually almost hitting the Ravagers. I just don't think there's going to be enough for Shin. Another big stim here. These medevacs keeping these units topped off, and as the last of the Ravagers go down, that is going to be GG. ByuN, he holds, man. He holds. Very solid holds there from ByuN. The first one and the second one. I don't think he quite knew what was coming when that first one hit, but having the bunker there really, really saved him. He was playing it safe. He knew the possibility was there. He said, "You got nice moves." Oh, I love that. You got nice moves. I really appreciate ByuN's banter. He's such a charismatic and entertaining guy. Game 2 is going to be on Golden Aura. Thank you for translating. I appreciate that. Keeping us up to date on what fun things are happening in the game. ByuN often brings out the best banter in certain players. I love getting to cast ByuN versus Maru especially. You guys are such good friends that they usually give us some fun banter. Let's hop into game number 2 here on Golden Aura. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner. Taking down 2 strong Terrans today, but going to be a tough one in the grand finals here. It is Shin. Shin Hebiam. Down 0-1 against that aforementioned strong Terran in the upper left for the Shopify Rebellion. It's ByuN. Again with the low ground, it's kind of funny that last game he didn't even open with the Reapers, but still going for the low ground barracks. It's really interesting to me that ByuN is going for this, because we've seen pretty much all the other Korean Terrans move away from the low ground barracks, from the Reaper openings. They're back to just normal high ground Hellion openers. Cure did a cheeky Cyclone opener, but it was still the same build setup. And it's kind of back to the old standard. Hellion Banshee, I think, has come right back into play now that the Cyclones can be built from the reactor, and it's a bit safer, I think, to open with the reactored Hellions. But ByuN, he's not giving up on it. He likes his 2 racks Reaper opening, and it is something that separates him a little bit from the other Terrans, right? You have to prepare specifically for the ByuN openers, because there's a lot of different variations of this. And even last game, we saw the single racks out front and then into like a 3-rack Stim Marine play. A bit non-standard there. Actually, very non-standard, I would say, in a TVZ. So ByuN really keeping it fresh. Makes it hard to predict what he's going to do. And man, he's just so good with these Reapers. Casting ByuN versus, what was it, Solar? I think it was ByuN and Solar last week. And ByuN just looked absolutely incredible with his Reapers. Particularly in Game 3. It was actually insane how good those Reapers were. When he takes an engagement, and like he starts to get surrounded, and then somehow he's bopping with the Reaper grenades, all the lings, and you realize he hasn't lost a single Reaper. It's crazy. He's not going to go very Reaper heavy this game, though. He does have 2 more racks behind this, so it's going to be a big Stim Marine follow-up. But it's just the 3 Reapers. I actually haven't seen him do this variation in a while. This is kind of fun. I really love how he does keep it fresh. He does change it up. Last week, he was doing the 3 racks Reaper. He just did that over and over and over again. He was really on that. Just a nice little link counterattack here from Shin. Might be able to force a kill on this tech lab. No, he's not going to be able to get it. Now with those 2 Marines popping. ByuN needs to get the repair going, but it looks like he will. But yeah, I haven't seen him do this follow-up in a while, so this is just the 3 Reapers. Pretty standard. This is the macro opener, but instead of a 3rd CC or a factory and a starport behind it, it's 2 more Raxes. ByuN is just going to have a ton of Marine production. Stim is already on the way. Combat shields will be up shortly. And it's going to be a very, very powerful push when it does come out of ByuN. And if Shin's not ready for it, if Shin's thinking he can defend with just Queens and Lings, he's got another thing coming, man. But so far, we haven't seen Shin play in that style. I think that's actually what feels very different about his play than the other top Zergs that I've been watching recently. He hasn't just been Queens and Lings for the first, like, 8 minutes of the game. Other tech can wait. No, he's very happy to get into Roaches, to get into, like, a Roach Ravager composition and use those to defend. Bit more sturdy of a composition, and allows him to push away a lot of those early drops and things a little bit more easily. There are Roaches on the way right now. The Marines have made their presence known by killing that Overlord. And now Shin knows he's got to just build as many units as he can. The Queens are going to try to buffer for a little bit here while these first few Roaches come out. There's not a lot of Roaches on the way right now. It's just going to be, I think, 3 or 4 at the start. Stim and Combat Shields aren't done yet, though. So while ByuN is here, he's not actually ready to take a real fight. And that bodes very, very well for Shin. And it looks like ByuN was just trying to maybe get a cancel on a 4th base. Shin, though, content to just stay on 3. He's droning up behind this as well as he's getting more Roaches out. There's no lair on the way, so that's really where he's taking a bit of a shortcut right now. He's happy to stay on 3 bases and just get up enough Roaches to hold this push. It looks like ByuN wants to push in. I don't know if ByuN knows that there's just a bunch of roaches out right now. But he's going to dive in anyways. This feels dicey. This feels dicey. ByuN has put a lot into this Marine push. He's got a third CC behind it. Yeah, I think it's smart for him to just back up. Shin feels like he can chase off creep, but without roach speed, it's not really a possibility. And it looks like we'll just macro forward. Shin holding on very, very nicely there. Not getting too greedy, trying to take an early fourth. Not trying to tech and drone while he needed to be building units. Very well held. And we see why Shin likes to go for those roaches. Much sturdier. If that was just a Ling Queen composition, I think ByuN would have found a lot of damage with that push. But as it is, it's macro time. Marauder's coming out now as well. ByuN has recognized it's a roach-heavy composition. The thing is, ByuN is still going to have a very powerful push in a little while here. As he gets Medivacs out, his 1-1 is on the way. He's going to have a lot of bio, and eventually bio wins against roaches. So Shin knows he needs to get into other tech supporting units, and it looks like it might just be the infestors here. The infestation pit is on the way, and I'm sure that's for Hive as well, but I think a couple of infestors really, really helps the roaches and ravagers. We've already seen Shin today nail some beautiful fungals. That game against Cure, game 1. I mean, really, I think he won that game because there was like 3 or 4 key fungals that stopped the drops, and then eventually at the very end allowed him to counter push across the map and win. And it really came down to those fungals locking the units in place so the roaches and ravagers can get underneath them and get the connections they need. Because roaches and ravagers are kind of slow, and they're kind of bulky, and they bumble around a lot. So later on in the game, they can struggle quite a bit. But we see those infestors on the way. ByuN is coming in with the double drop, and he's going to just hit the main base. And this is a problem with the roaches being a little slow, but there we go. Already a beautiful fungal, and ByuN is just going to lift up and leave. He cannot stick around anymore, not with these units as low as they are. He gets the 1 queen, but Shin has plenty more queens where that one came from. He's actually only on 4, so maybe a couple more queens could pop out here. ByuN gonna start working on that creep spread a little bit now, getting a couple of these tumors. Shin's creep spread's starting to move out there, but ByuN's hitting on the left side as well. And here's the bio army in force. Not enough. Whoa, not enough medevacs here to evacuate these units. So ByuN needs to be a bit careful. He doesn't have an evacuation plan. That fungal was really, really nice to start off that fight. ByuN moving in now. He did clear a lot of the creep over on this side as well. And without that huge queen count from Shin, he can't replace this very easily. This is one downfall to the way Shin has been playing. He doesn't just have a group of 7 queens roaming around the map replacing all the creep spread. He's actually going to lose yet another queen, and I think there's going to be another scan here. Those tumors are going to go down immediately. Shin more focused on the other side, though. He knows this army is here, and he's going to land a massive fungal right on top of ByuN's bio. But it's not enough, and he doesn't have a follow-up to hit the other group. ByuN recognizes it, and he stims and kills a lot of those roaches and ravagers. It looks like this army was killed in the meantime. Those medevacs just going to come over here, and they're like, no, we didn't lose our Marines. Don't worry about it. Oh, my God, but another beautiful fungal and some biles to combine with it. Shin making things happen here. He needs to keep holding on. He's on 81 drones. He hasn't taken any economic damage yet. ByuN's on a good economy as well. He's taking that 4th base. Shin's trying to take the 5th over to the left. But he needs to clear this army out of here before he can really do that. Fester's moving forward. Good target fire, though, from ByuN. With the scans, he's able to take one of those down. But there's roaches and banelings on the top of the ramp now. And I think ByuN's going to have to run away, just trying to trade as well as he can with these Ravagers before he picks up and gets out of here with a few of these units. And Shin does hold on. Very painful, though. Look at how much closer the supplies are now, as Shin lost a lot of army supply in that fight. Yeah, so far the trade's been much better for ByuN. And now ByuN's actually ahead in workers. Shin really needs to get this base mining. That gold base is going to be key. He might want to take this base up here as well, but so far ByuN's pressure has been pretty consistent and has gotten some good damage done. These infestors are out here again. I love the little burrowed infestors. It's something Dark has been doing for a long time. I'm happy to see Shin going for it as well. It's worked out really nicely for him. He's gotten some really sick fungals because of it. ByuN's going to drop behind this base. The army of the Zerg is not too far away, though, so ByuN will have to lift up and get out of there, but that's only part one. Part two is this push through the middle of the map. There's even a siege tank with this, and Shin needs to get over here. There's some Vipers, though. ByuN needs to be a little bit careful. Some parasitic bombs going down on the medevacs, trying to hurt them, at least force them away. They won't quite get the kills. Oh, 2 hit points. Very, very low medevacs here. And it looks like Shin wants to keep on pressuring. Again, he's got these infestors out in the middle of the map. ByuN needs to be a little bit careful about that. They can't burrow, or they can't fungal while they're burrowed, but they could pop up and fungal. ByuN's concentrating his efforts on the left side now. This is the most important base for Shin. He has to keep this alive, and he's going to dive in and blinding clouds a couple of these units. There is a fungal, but it's really just a big concave of Zerg units that's doing it right now. Banelings, though, smashing into the siege tanks. They need to be over here fighting against the bio, and they finally do show up. And Shin's going to clear this army and send ByuN packing. I don't think Shin can push this all the way back. There are siege tanks back here. There's bio reinforcements, but he at least keeps ByuN off of his side of the map, and that's going to allow him to start getting these ultras out. Chitinous is done. +3 Carapace is about to finish. They even have their anabolic synthesis on the way. ByuN, though, he's got a lot of Marauders, and this is what worries me about Shin's strategy here. It's roaches into ultras, so the Marauders are just such good units to have. It really makes those lings so important. They have to get those wraparounds and force the Marauders to just be shooting at lings while the rest of those units are doing damage. More infestors on the way. Shin is back up to maxed. He's only on 5 bases. He's only on 78 workers, but he's going to have a very big army. No bank behind it, though. So if he wants to go in, he's going to have one shot, one opportunity, and he cannot let it go to waste. He's taking a 6th base. Trying to get some better mining, maybe get a bank up. But ByuN, he's nearly max, and it looks like he wants to push out and take this 5th base. It's a very bold 5th base for ByuN to take. Shin, though, he's going to dive in. Drops a blinding cloud. I think he's got another one available, but he's going to lose the Vipers, actually. It sounded like both the Vipers went down there, but Shin is still pushing through, trying to bile down the siege tanks. The last of the tanks is going to go down. The Ghosts trying to get their snipes off, but I think they're out of energy. And Shin is starting to push ByuN back into his base. The last few bio units, though, picking off one of those ultras, picking off the 2nd ultra. And Shin, it looked like he was starting to push through, but only getting 4 SCV kills. And ByuN is going to hold on the 4 bases. This 5th base may be delayed a little bit, but as he gets reinforcements out, he's going to be able to secure the position. And Shin is trying to remake his army, but he doesn't have a bank. His economy hasn't been great for a while. ByuN has been mining more for the last almost 5 minutes here. And ByuN, he's got more command centers coming up. He's getting very nicely set up with ghosts, tanks. He did lose a lot of tanks there, but he still has more coming out. I think he might have double factory right now. He's also got liberators on the way. ByuN is getting very, very well set up for the late game. And Shin's army just doesn't do well in the late game. Ultras, I know they're late game units, but again, they're the kind of units you need when you're ahead and that are just useless when you're behind. Against ghosts and liberators and tanks and marauders, these ultras are just going to absolutely melt. They're going to be useless. The best thing they can do is hope to catch ByuN out of position and like kill a planetary. They're really good at that. Shin's trying to get set up for another attack. He is taking the 7th base, trying to cover his half of the map. He's been allowed to mine from this base. He hasn't mined any of the gas, but he's soaking up the minerals. Ah, the scan and kill on the infestor. It's so rude. But ByuN caught a little bit out of position here. He's going to lose a lot of SCVs. His third base getting routed. Tank going down as well. A lot of Lings died for that, but the Ultras stay alive, and well, it was all a distraction. The real fight was over here. Yep, some workers got killed at the third base, but the fifth base planetary goes down. And now, just like that, Shin finds himself ahead 22 workers as his seventh base is about to finish up. So economically, this is looking very, very good for Shin now. ByuN just trying to be the defensive Turtle Terran, but getting caught out of position both times there. Losing a lot of workers, taking a lot of damage. Shin's going to come back in, but there's actually no more workers to kill here. So he's just going to leave again. ByuN's going to retake this planetary. But the problem for ByuN is he hasn't been on the other side of the map in so long. Shin's just been free to expand. He scans the upper corner to see if there's anything there. Shin has not quite taken that base yet. I would love to see him take that hatchery, though. Another problem here for Shin, though, he doesn't have those queens. He still just has the 4 queens. So his creep spread is actually terrible. He doesn't even have full creep spread between his bases, let alone connecting all of his bases out here. I mean, none of his bases are connected right now. The creep spread is very, very disparate. He's starting to put some more creep tumors out there, but he's got to make sure to keep those injects up too, right? So I wouldn't hate to see him build some more queens in this late game. It'd be something easily forgotten, but that creep spread is so important, especially since he's had map control for so long. He's going to try to dive back in. Some nice blinding clouds here go down before the EMPs hit. Oh, and Shin is really committing to this one. Hitting on both sides, killing some more SCVs, but also just trading with some of that army. If he can keep ByuN's economy down and keep trading, eventually he will wear the Terran down. But ByuN, he's just trying to be as cost efficient as possible. He has so far been extremely cost efficient. So Shin's going to need to keep that balance of mining significantly more so he can be a little cost inefficient, but he's got to be close enough to wear ByuN down. And ByuN's chilling at maxed right now. He is not worn down at the moment. He's starting to gain a little bit of a bank, and he's just going to take these cost-effective trades. Look at this. More snipes going down. A Ravager and an Ultra getting killed for absolutely nothing. Shin is going to pull drones away from this base. It looks like he's going to give up the gold. He's mined quite a bit from it, so if ByuN does end up able to take this base, it's not going to be a full base. It's half a mineral base. Still quite a bit of gas at it, though, and that might be what ByuN really, really cares about here. Now Shin is going to take the upper right. Got a Ling burrowed here, so he knows that base isn't being taken. And he's transitioned to Broodlords. That's a lot of Broods. What do we got here? 11 of them. Going to start working on ByuN's army. Oh! Ghost getting caught out of position. A Marine getting caught out of position. Good start here for Shin. Attacking into the planetary, though. The Ghosts are here as well. Are there some infestors around? The Vipers! Oh, the Vipers getting left. All 3 getting caught there. There was a fungal thrown down, but ByuN pulled back in time. I don't think there's a lot of spellcasters left. Just the one infestor here for Shin. And that's a real problem. You need those infestors. Oh, he wants to dive in. The dangerous place to be in. The Marines stimming forward. Couple of snipes going off. The Broodlord count falling a little bit. The Ultra's going to start running forward now. Very back and forth here. ByuN is feeling strong, though. He's like, I'm feeling good against Ultra Broodlord. A story a little bit about the Banelings, but getting some vision on this side of the tall grass really helps, too. ByuN sending 3 medevacs up north. He wants to try to take down this new fresh base from Shin. And ByuN's starting to get a bank going. Those trades, they've only gotten better and better for ByuN. He is trading very cost effectively. He's got a nuke on the way. He's going to scan up here, sees that the base is there, stims forward. The drones. No, the drones. RIP. Every single one of those drones. Scans to see, yep, this base is still not here, which means now Shin's economy is not that much better than ByuN's. In fact, as ByuN gets this base set up, I think ByuN's economy is going to be better. They're on the same worker count, but with mules, as well as with more mining patches here for ByuN, right? This is a fully fresh base. He doesn't have a ton of mining left at his other bases, but this one's still pretty fresh. I guess it is kind of like 2 full bases to 2 full bases, and the rest are just a few mineral patches and gas geysers around. That's not great for Shin, though, because he's been trading very inefficiently. And while they're both maxed, look at ByuN's bank. Look at Shin's bank. Shin has one more chance, really. He's got 12 broods here, but we're seeing snipes go down. Or hearing them, more like. And ByuN, oh, he's going to drop the nuke. He's pushing over on this side, taking down these spine crawlers. I think this nuke is going to land. I think the Ghost will be able to protect this enough. Oh, there it goes. The army does clean this up and send it back. The nuke lands. Spines go down. 8 drones were killed there as well. Shin, he's just making his army bigger. He wants to go do some counter damage. He's going to blast this planetary down with banelings, but he can't afford to take those kinds of trades. Look at him drop to 170 supply, and oh no! Ghosts in the middle of the map! They find the broods, sniping a bunch of them. And just like that, a bunch more broodlords going down. 8 of them have died. There's only, what, 7 left. That means 5 have died just in the last minute or so. And that broodlord count feeling so low now. Ghosts dropping out over here. And ByuN is finding all sorts of damage in this late game. Again, just trading beautifully. I mean, this is insane. Almost 20,000 resources lost more for Shin. The fact that this game is still competitive is wild. Shin getting some Hydras out now. Looks like he might be trying to tech towards lurkers. He doesn't have a lurker den, though, so I guess it's just Hydras. He just wanted some anti-air that wasn't corruptors. It feels like there should be a base here. This feels like a base position, you know? Not a watchtower position. Scan to see what's going on. I think ByuN's looking for the army. The army just came into sensor tower range, though. Whoa, some snipes going down. Oh my god, a lot of snipes going down, but the Lings and Bane's gonna dive in. I think this is Shin's last chance to get something done. The Infestor's coming from the backside, and he gets some fungals. That's a juicy one on some of those ghosts there. The Banelings are getting some damage done, but look at the supply. Even as it feels like Shin is pushing through, he's gonna hit a wall where ByuN is just gonna have too much stuff. There's only 4 broods left. These Thors actually don't have to be scared of them. The Infestors are the scariest thing here, but I don't even think they have Neural, so they can't even take control of these Thors if they walk forward. And I think ByuN is just going to be able to push this back. He's at 180 supply. Yes, he lost this base. There's not much here, though. There's really not much. It's mostly a positional thing. The base didn't have any mining left. Shin's going to walk up one more time. But as the Thors start blasting into these Broodlords, the Ghosts get the snipes. Down they go. It's just Hydras now. Can Shin push through with the Hydras? I'm watching the supply, and I think the answer is no. Another nice fungal goes down. But as these units retreat, Shin is going to be forced to tap out. ByuN just trading too cost efficiently in that game. Crazy cost efficiency. Well over 20,000 resources more lost for Shin. Actually insane. I'm waiting for game number 3. All right, that was just game 2. Yeah, game 3 is going to be on Site Delta. I'm going to grab some water here as we get into this lobby and get ready to go. This could be the final game, depending on how it goes here. Shin has looked very good today against the Terrans, taking down ByuN and Cure. But it feels like maybe he's up against a wall. He certainly is in a tough spot here. Down 0-2. The upper left-hand corner of Site Delta now, it is Shin. And his opponent in the lower right-hand corner, the Blue Terran. It's ByuN. He's up 2-0. Looking solid, looking strong. And this is kind of what I was worried about for Shin. That last game kind of exemplified it. When we saw him up against ByuN earlier on, and even Cure, as the game got later and later, I didn't love his composition, but it didn't feel like ByuN and Cure had that solid, strong, late-game TVZ that's just so terrifying to fight against. And you need a super complex army to be able to take those fights. But ByuN has that. That last game from ByuN was incredibly cost-efficient. And I don't know if Shin has that late-game cost efficiency where he can really compete with these guys. Compete with somebody like ByuN. Because ByuN was looking pretty unstoppable as that game got going, especially once he got the 5th base. There was a moment there where Shin, I think, almost had it. And he plays that early late game style where he gets those ultras out. Ultras are great in such specific scenarios. And I really like the way he used them initially. But the problem is I think they fall off very quickly. Once the ghost count gets up, once there's liberators out, ultras are basically useless. And I think at that point you got to stop making them. You make that first round of ultras, and then you kind of just chill with that. You know, if you can win the game there, you can push through. That first round of ultras, if it can surprise the Terran, they're on your side of the map and you can clean up their army real quick and push, counter push. We've seen that work really well for Shin. But yeah, once the game gets longer, once the Terran gets set up defensively, like we saw ByuN do, they're just the worst. They're just the worst units. They're so bad. We'll have to see what kind of strategy we get out of both of our players here. As it looks like ByuN's opening the same way he did in game 1. Right? He's got the single barracks on the low ground into the CC. Just going to be Marines, but then the follow-up 2 barracks to get his stim and combat shields in the main base. Game 1 was a cheese from Shin. So we didn't really get to see ByuN's build come to fruition. Will be interesting to see what happens here. Now, as this might be the last game and we have a bit of a lull for a minute here, I'm going to take this time to remind everybody that my name is Chickenman, and if you are enjoying this content, to consider hitting the follow or subscribe buttons on the various platforms. And hopefully I'll see you guys more for these EPT Cups. We also have the KSL on this channel. That's every week. Friday night for me. Might be Saturday for you out there in the world. But that's more Korean StarCraft. Very similar to this tournament. But that is our event. It's funded by the Patreon. So if you'd like to support Korean StarCraft, if you're like, I actually don't care about you at all, but you want to support players like these guys, consider supporting the KSL. We get lots of fun matches every week, and it helps keep the Korean scene going in a time when Blizzard no longer supports StarCraft. So we're all struggling a little bit, but the community has really held us together. I don't know, I've been really loving the community this year. Big shout out to you guys. But all right, I finished shilling just in time for ByuN to get ready to move out. He's got that stim, got that combat shields. Factory is on the way. Now, likely, he's just going to kind of poke and prod with this. But he doesn't have a 3rd command center. So it's starting to feel more and more committed here out of ByuN. He's heading towards medevacs. There's 18 lings on the way, so we're not seeing that roach warren. So Shin is doing that thing I was a little worried about, that I kind of like that he wasn't doing, which is defending with lings and queens. There's the big stim out of ByuN, but then the lings come in. The lings are not going to be able to win this fight, but that will be enough to at least force the Marines to pull back. They don't want to stim again. They really, really don't. ByuN's going to stay out on the map and keep the threat present. This is keeping all the queens back, right? So there's not a lot of injecting happening right now at all these bases. Although Ragnarok does have plenty of queens. Man, he is heavy on queens this game. 10 queens out. And I think it's working out really well for him. So far, the Marines haven't been able to find too much damage. That was a big stim from ByuN. I don't think he expected that many lings to come around. ByuN, no. He's not going for a third CC. He is getting those medevacs out as well as siege tanks. And he's going to have a very strong 2-base. I'm getting close to calling it a 2-base all in, man. With no third CC in sight. It's going to be a very late third command center. It's at least a committed 2-base push. And Shin, he's trying to get his 1-1 going. But I don't think that's going to be done in time. This Bane Nest will be. He needs to get that Bane Nest going. Get some Banelings out. He has no lair, so he's not going to have Bane speed. Ooh, these Marines going to get caught here. Marines are going to be forced to stim. The lings are going to have to run away. That's a lot of Marines, and he's going to bust those rocks. There's a siege tank in here. The medevacs can start healing some of these Marines up. Creeps Red getting killed. There's the Baneling morph, but it feels a little bit late. Wait, there is a lair? Oh my god, his third base is the lair. Okay, never mind. I wasn't expecting that. Bane speed is on the way, but it's far away. It's going to be a while before Shin has that available. ByuN, though, he's kind of being passive with this. I'm surprised he's not pushing in harder. Got a lot of stuff here. I don't know where that siege tank went. There are 2 tanks out. Oh, it's up here. We found it. Good work, team. Mission accomplished. He's going to start pushing at this 4th base of Shin. Shin's spreading some creep up here, but I don't think he realizes the army is all up here. He's checking for a 3rd base. There's still no 3rd command center. There is not. 17 Banelings out, a lot of lings as well, but 56 Marines. A lot of those lings are on the other side of the map counterattacking here. Lings and Banes that want to counterattack, keeping ByuN at home, but that means that Shin doesn't feel like he's got enough to defend this base right now. He's spending all of his larvae as quickly as possible, but not being able to have a 4th base is very painful. He's trying to take this one as well. There's a drop down here at the same time. ByuN hitting in multiple locations, forcing Shin to focus all over the place. Now he drops into the main base as well. ByuN is just absolutely everywhere. Shin, though, holding on so far, keeping both of these bases alive. Hasn't taken any drone damage yet, so he's still ahead in workers. Remember, there's no 3rd base from ByuN. The 3rd CC is halfway done in the main base. That's not going to be taken until like 10 minutes. ByuN poking up this ramp, but there's a lot of lings and Banes here. Great focus fire on those Banelings. Without a Baneling connection, the lings cannot clean this up. And ByuN is going to be able to hold this position. I don't know where the medevacs that were down here went. They might have gotten taken down. Oh no, here they are. We found them. We found them. Shin still has a lot of stuff down here to deal with it, but that means he doesn't have anything up here to deal with this base. But he is going to lose this one, but he's still on 4 bases. 63, now 65 drones. He's not over-droning, which is very smart. ByuN still hasn't taken a 3rd. ByuN is still only at 50 workers. He's starting to make more SCVs now as his 3rd base is... it'll get out there soon. I don't know what that tank was doing out there. Shin is finding little bits of value here and there. And this, while it's kind of annoying to clear, isn't really doing anything right now. The queens in the main base going to be able to keep the medevacs away. ByuN is moving out with another big group of bio units, though. Bio units. It's just Marines. Big group of Marines. God, there are 72 Marines on this map. That is insane. That is so much power. But with 40 Banelings here, where's that Liberator? Oh, it's dead. 6 drones going down. That's pretty painful at this stage of the game. That's going to force Shin to build more drones, but right now he needs to focus on stopping this push. He is forcing a lift up. Ooh, that +2 carapace is going to get denied. It wasn't very close, though, so that it's better than the +2 melee getting denied. ByuN wants to keep this pressure on. He still has this push up here. It's not really doing anything. There's nothing to shoot up. Where are all the queens? They're all still in the main base dealing with, it looks like, another Liberator. As these drops continue to come in and get damage done. Shin trying to build more drones. He is droning up, but he's not been allowed to get above 70. Oh, and now the queens have found these medevacs. The Marines are going to drop out. Oh, this is really, really nice, though, for Shin. And down goes one medevac. The second one's so low. So low. Oh, 8 hit points. This one's only at 42. There's nothing to finish them off. Oh, that's so painful. And Shin once again tries to take this down, but he just doesn't have enough here. He realizes it cancels that base. And while it felt like Shin was getting into a better and better position, all of a sudden those two Liberators getting a lot of kills. These drops have gotten so much value for ByuN. I mean, look at the trades. Almost at double the resources lost here for Shin, who's finally going to be allowed to have a 5th base. ByuN has a 3rd, though. He is happily mining on 59 workers, and he has kept Shin below 70 drones this whole game. Keeping this pressure on. It looks like finally this area was cleared up. This drop is not going to be able to find much more value here. So Shin is finally allowed to get to 70+ workers. He does have the hive about to finish up. He's taking that 6th base as well. Such an interesting position for the hive here. It's crazy he built the lair there. He's got the infestation pit as well. Could build some of those infestors. Oh, actually just going to go straight for the Vipers as that hive finishes up. These medevacs are empty right now. The Marines are joining up. But ByuN's going to force another cancel on this base, it looks like. Shin just a little bit too far away to deal with it. The queens in the main here are really nice. They've been keeping the drops out of the main pretty consistently. But Shin, again, caught out of position. And, oh, man. Canceling that 6th base is unfortunate, but losing this 5th base is brutal. Because now it's about to be 4 bases to 4. ByuN a little lower on workers, but at this stage of the game, he's still going to be pretty well saturated, even on just 59. And Shin once again falling under 70 workers as he tries desperately to take more bases. Costs drones to do that every single time. He is starting up his 3-3. He's got Adrenal on the way. He's going to have a very powerful army. The question is, will ByuN, who is right now maxed, be able to tech into that late game army that we're looking for? I don't think there's a Ghost Academy just yet. But there's no big units for those ghosts to snipe either. As I say that, the first Ultra starts up. I don't think Chitinous was researched, though. Ooh, an Ultra before Chitinous. That's not good. We don't like that. We don't like that. Gotta have that Chitinous. Because it's going to be 3-3 versus 3-3 here in a little bit. Actually, ByuN finishing that 3-3 up earlier. So he's going to have an upgrade lead for quite a while. He's going to try to push in towards this base once again. The base is finally finished up. But can Shin hold on to it? The Widowmine connecting pretty decently. But the Viper's going to come in. Maybe drop some Blinding Cloud, some Parasitic Bombs on the medevacs. ByuN needs to be careful not to lose any of these. They are full of units at the moment, but it looks like they will not go down from that first set of Parasitic Bombs. At the same time, he's got the double drop down here. Shin holding on, but not able to retake this base. He has held this base on for right now. ByuN needs to build some SCVs, man. 63 workers is not quite enough. This base could be fully saturated, and it's just not. I feel like that's a mistake here for ByuN. Yeah, he's starting to pump out some more now. Even just a handful, even just up to like 69, 72, something like that, I think would be good. He's taken such good trades this game. 5,000 resources, almost 6,000 resources in favor of ByuN. but ByuN has mined so little that even on Ragnarok's pretty crap economy this game, he's still been mining more. And now he's going to dive in once again. Another parasitic bomb on all of these beautiful fresh medevacs. But a good split from ByuN there. The medevacs will not die. Finally, Chitinous was started. And 3-3 is about to finish for Shin. So economically, he's in a better position. His army is in a solid position because we don't have those ghosts out yet. The cloak is on the way. We'll start seeing ghosts come out soon. But until then, the ultras are actually going to be quite nice here. And these Vipers are free to roam around with the army. But I think Shin needs to do something before ghosts are out, because that was his real struggle last game. He's got to be very careful about these Widowmines. So far, great splits. Not taking too much damage. This planetary, it's not going to happen. The last second cancel from ByuN. Smart choice. Banling's going to try to roll up. ByuN not watching. ByuN, no! Eats the huge Banling shots. Oh, man. Focused elsewhere. He does have this army down here, but now he's not watching this army eat some more Banling shots. And just like that, ByuN looked like he was in an okay spot, but mishandles a couple of engagements. He's going to lose his fourth base, loses most of his army. He's knocked down to 125 supply, down to 49 workers. And this looks like now it is Shin's game to lose. Sending these ultras in on their own might be the way to do it. I don't know if I like that too much. Some ghosts are popping out. Oh, the snipes get broken though. Ultra goes for the burrow. Oh no, the Widowmines! Kill that ultra. Not often you see Widowmine kill an ultra, but it seems to happen more often in Shin's games than anybody else's. ByuN's just gonna tap out. He realizes his position. Shin is fully maxed on the other side of the map. He's just going to morph a bunch of Banlings and go again. ByuN says, you know what? Let's just get into the next game. It's not worth hanging out and try-harding this game for the next 10 minutes. ByuN is still on match point, but Shin takes game 3. Does not go down without a fight. I also thought he was going to pull the boys at the start of that game. I was hoping. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to jinx it. But I was hoping we get the boy pull. It's one of my favorite things that, like, just recently, just in the last few months, all of a sudden, kind of came back. Just a little bit. Han Mono did it. It was ByuN, wasn't it? Or maybe Maru? That recently did, like, a SEV pull with Stim Marines early on in the game. I think that was a 2-base version. Han Mono did a 1-base version not too long ago. Bopped whoever he was playing against. It's just such a... It's a strategy that feels like it should absolutely never work. But that's kind of why it does sometimes. You have to bust it out so seldomly. But I love it. Just pulling all the SCVs to join up with your Stim Marines. Maybe we'll see that this game. I don't know. Finally getting a point on the board in this finals. Still looking strong against the Terrans. The upper right-hand corner of Alcyone. It is Mystery Gaming's Shin. Taking that game 3. Not falling when it was match point for his opponent. In the lower left-hand corner for the Shopify Rebellion, it's ByuN. Ah, this has been a fun one. Ooh, ByuN with the high ground supply depot. What is it? Is this a CC first? Oh, ByuN. Oh, this is such a bold move, ByuN. I love it. But it is a bold move because he's against somebody who has gone early pull and early roaches a few times today against Terrans. But it's working out for ByuN here. This is a hatch pool. Not even any gas here for Shin. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, this is great for ByuN. And I love that ByuN, he doesn't play I don't know. He's pretty unpredictable. He's a hard player to play against, I think, because he is happy to do kind of weird things sometimes. He's not quite Gumiho level, I feel like, but he will change up at least his openings and set himself up a little bit differently in games. But the thing about ByuN, he's also not afraid to do one of the scariest things, which is to just do the same strategy over and over and over again. That's the other thing. Is like, you don't know. You can't count on him. Like, I feel like if you're playing against Gumiho, he's almost never going to do the same build twice. But if you're playing against ByuN, he might. He might just do the exact same build the entire series. And if it starts working, you'll be like, man, how do I actually hold this? Hold on. It's kind of crazy. But what were we just talking about, guys? I think ByuN might have been listening into our conversation, because I think he might pull the boys with us. We have 4 Raxes, a quick 2-base setup. The ByuN's going to have a lot of economy very quickly. He's going to be in a really nice spot early on. I think he's going to walk across the map with Stim Marines and a bunch of SCVs. I think he's about to do it. It actually would make me so happy if he pulls this build out right as we were talking about it. Shin has not scouted basically anything yet. He sees that the wall isn't the barracks wall. He hasn't seen any Marines or Reapers. He did scout when the CC was finishing up, so he must know it's CC first based on the timing. But he's got a lair on the way. He's got a Roach Warren on the way. The Roach Warren here could be huge. If he has Roaches out, that's going to be much stronger than like a Ling Queen hold. Stim combat shields on the way. No +1 with this. Who needs +1? Why get upgrades? The Roach Warren's going to finish, but is Shin going to build Roaches? Yeah, okay. Immediately. So Shin wants to attack. This is Shin being aggressive. For sure, right? He's got Roach speed on the way. This is a pretty quick lair. His third base isn't even done yet. He's on 44 drones. He's just going to try to push across the map with Roaches. Roaches. ByuN's not pulling the SCVs. Boys. Boys. No, factory. eBay. Oh, no, boys. Oh, I think there was a chance for boys. Well, I'm talking about boys now. Don't you know about boys? Wanna see you pull the boys now. What a bottle of joy. ByuN is going to go for the stim. He's going to try to take down these Roaches, and he is going to very successfully kill all of these Roaches. Queens are like, wait a minute. Hold on, Marines are really good. What the hell is this? More Roaches coming out, though. The fact that Shin was planning on attacking actually working out really well for him here. It's kind of the only way to hold these kinds of builds sometimes, is if you're already planning on attacking, you have those units out. And then as soon as he pushes those Marines away, 12 more drones. Shin just trying to get as many drones out as he can, try to saturate this third base. I think he's going to try to push up to 66. ByuN's still threatening out on the map, but he sees that there's some Roaches pushing him back. He's going to pull back a little bit. He wants to wait for the medevacs to come out. He does have a nice follow-up here. I thought for sure he was going to go all in, but he has a really nice follow-up with the third base finishing up at around 6 minutes. He's going to have medevacs coming out, and that +1's about halfway done. Starting to get Marauders out as well. Again, very good against the Roaches. His double Evo chamber here from Shin, but he hasn't started up his 1-1 yet. So he is going to be a bit behind ByuN, at least in terms of the attack upgrade. ByuN's going to have a nice little advantage window with the attack upgrade. And ByuN's going to be able to take this third base. Ooh, we have the gold base here out of Shin. Busting down these rocks. Would love to see him mine these minerals too. Just sending one drone over to these right now, I think is well worth it to have that path around. because if ByuN sees this bases here, he just drops over here, and there's just no chance the roaches can funnel through this. But ByuN's going to push to the front. These roaches, that's not enough roaches. This is a lot of stim bio. That +1 is about to finish. Some more roaches and ravagers on the high ground here. That will be enough to push ByuN at least back a little bit. ByuN doesn't realize this base is here just yet. He's going to try to dive on top of this, running through the biles so he doesn't eat any of the damage, gunning down these ravagers. Looks like he's just going to trade with the roaches and ravagers. He finds the base now, unfortunately for Shin, but ByuN not able to do anything about it at the moment. He's going to pick up and head towards the main base. We could see him send another drop out towards that gold, but I don't think he has enough units back at home to really do that. Infestors coming out now of Shin. Oh, and he is mining through here. See, Shin does the things I say he should do, and I appreciate that from him. I appreciate that he recognized my genius. He's like, yeah, you know what? Thanks, caster man. I think I will do that. I like the attempt at the predictive biles. Not working out this time, but always fun. ByuN just defending back at home. Tank sieged up. He's just kind of chilling. Building a second factory and a fourth command center. Looks like ByuN's more than content to macro this game out. Shin expanding to the top side. Oh, the biles worked that time. I don't think all these units can fit in that medevac. That's okay. The Marine died to the bile. That one Marine's like, we can't all fit. I got this. Don't worry about it, boys. I got you. One of these days, those biles are going to work. It happens occasionally, and it's so cool when it does. Well, I really like Shin's position here. ByuN is being very, very patient, but he's also not really putting much pressure out on the map right now. The pros and cons of being patient. This drop is still up here, can still threaten. But it looks like Shin's very well aware of it. He's going to force the lift up again. While ByuN moves over to the left-hand side, tries to clear some of this creep and push into this base. There are some infestors, though. And got to be careful. I like this. Yeah, killing these rocks is going to be very important. Oh, these banelings just in the wrong spot. Shin just cancels them. And ByuN with a lot of production back at home now. He's just going to be pumping out units. Taking his fourth base, 8 Raxes, 2 factories. He's got a lot of stuff coming out. Shin trying to get into a Spire. His hive is done. The Vipers are out, ready to go. Ooh, his gold base might be in some trouble here. Units need to come back and work on this. But like I said, attacking in here is just going to be impossible. And down goes that base. This drop also being annoying, and this drop too. Oh, but the fungal, the biles miss. Damn it. I swear, one of these days, it's going to happen. ByuN continuing to push up, though, forcing a lot of the units back from Shin. Shin struggling to deal with this multi-prong attacking, losing a lot of workers, losing that base, knocked back down to just 4 bases. Gets some good baneling connections, though, forces ByuN to leave. It looks like that is going to be pretty much the end of this. I can't believe this. Medevac is going to live. Oh my God, the Greater Spire gets spotted as well. 3 Marines at a 5 hit point medevac. Actually can't believe it. All right, looks like the Queens took care of it. ByuN wants to kill that Spine Crawler that would have died by itself. Now he's getting into Ghosts. ByuN's macro is absolutely killing it. This is kind of what I was missing earlier from Ryung's play, was this aggressive expanding. As he's pushing out on the map, as he's putting all this pressure on, ByuN is taking bases. He is just macroing up, killing infestors here. He is eating some fungals, but Shin not able to capitalize on those fungals. And as the full might of the army comes through here, ByuN setting up a beautiful concave. The parasitic bomb's just not doing it. He's got this drop on this side as well. And as Shin pulls everything away from it, just a few Marauders are going to dive in here and get some more kills. The tanks have sieged up. And even if Shin somehow is able to clear this, ByuN is again just being so cost efficient. More 5,000 resources in favor of ByuN. Another Viper goes down, and the Marines stim forward. The Ravagers on their own. Shin knocked down to 120 supply, and as he tries to get the Ultras out, I think once again the Ultra transition killing him here, and it looks like ByuN is going to take the 3-1 victory to close out this EPT Cup. ByuN secures his place as the #1 player today. GG's.